I'm Jake from Dead City Ruins.
I'm Blanche from Dead City Ruins.
And you're watching the Hard Rock Show.
Hi, welcome to the Hard Rock Show. I'm Shane.
I'm Andrew.
And as always, another jam-packed week full of rock and roll excitement. Actually, not a big week for news, really.
No, not a lot, but then again, there's always something to talk about, and so I guess we'll get into it.
The first news story that I wanted to talk about this week is Lita Ford and the Runaways are talking reunion at the moment, which is pretty cool. They haven't been around for a long time, and I don't know what I was going to say there. See, we don't script this; it's just all real.
Yeah, we don't have time for scripts. No, it would be a really cool thing to sort of see them all get back together and do something again after so long. It'd be interesting to see where they've sort of come about in their journey from the years between then and now.
Well, it's been a long time between drinks, that's for sure. And apparently they're all on speaking terms at the moment. And
that's a good start.
Yeah, Lita Ford talks to Cherry Curry fairly often, and Joan Jett's the only one that's sort of a bit iffy about whether it will happen or not. It's she either will or she won't.
I think that with so many of these sorts of reunion type deals, it'll come down to how much money can be involved. If you throw enough money into the pot, then usually people will sign on and try and get a couple of shows under their belt before they go killing each other again. So
definitely. But Lita Ford actually has a new album coming out on the 19th of this month, and it's actually called Like a Runaway. So definitely check that one out when it comes out.
Yep, bit of symmetry in that. All right, so for me, Axl. Good old Axl Rose. He's at it again.
He's always up to something, isn't he?
He is indeed. Now, he's just going above and beyond the call of proving the fact that he has not buried the hatchet with Slash in any way, shape or form. He's now, for the second time in a UK show, banning people from getting into the arena wearing any Slash merchandise.
Jealous much?
Yeah, just a little bit. I think it's time you got the fuck over it, to be honest. His career is doing fine. Yours is kind of stalling. I think it's about time you sort of wisened up to what the hell is actually going on. Banning people from getting into your gig when they've paid money to see you when they're wearing a t-shirt or wearing a top hat. Get over it. Seriously. No.
Look, the way I see it, Slash has just released a kick-ass new album, and it'll be another 14 odd years before we see anything from Axl. So I know whose team I'm on.
Same here. It's not hard to pick a side there, is it?
No. But that throws nicely into my next news story, which is there's a DVD on Slash. It's a all-out interview with him. It's an unauthorized disc, but it's one of those unauthorized but authorized type deals, you know. But it's going to be called The Cat in the Hat, which is a pretty cool name for a Slash DVD, I reckon.
That's not bad.
It should be dropping in around August, but it's got an interesting blurb on the back of the DVD itself, and I can't remember it word for word, but it basically says exactly what we just said about how Slash is moving on with his career and releasing awesome music still, whereas his bitter bandmate, who isn't named, but we all know which one it's talking about, pretty much has stalled. So, yeah, definitely check out that DVD and don't check out anything Axl does.
I'm with you on that one. It'll be really interesting to see in the interview that's done if anything to do with Axl is brought up and how Slash responds to it.
Well, it's supposed to be a fairly candid interview.
Yeah.
It says Slash talks about almost anything. So there's obviously some stuff that he avoids talking about, but the majority of it is pretty open and honest.
Well, for me personally, he seems to, out of the two parties we've been talking about here for the last couple of minutes, he seems to be the much more diplomatic and the one that's much more willing to get on with life and get over this shit.
Absolutely.
And it'd be good just to hear him say, because he doesn't do a whole lot of sit-down on-camera interviews and things like that I know about. Nothing that gets really thrown out there anyway. So it would be interesting, I think. Well worth a look for sure.
Definitely.
Okay. Final bit of news for this week. As we said, it's a bit of a slow week. Rachel Bolan of Skid Row, which this man right here adores that band no end.
Well, I used to.
Well, when Sebastian Bach was in it anyway.
He'll come back.
You keep holding on to that fucking pipe dream.
It'll happen.
Okay. Anyway, just to break things up, he's now gone and taken over bass duties in Stone Sour for the new upcoming album. Now, that would be interesting. I don't know the circumstances surrounding why, I forget the guy's name, the previous bass player is no longer involved in the project, but he's got the experience, so I don't see why he couldn't pull it off. Apparently, he's got 18 or so of the songs already done out of this double CD or something that's being planned, so he's doing well, and he's just looking forward to knocking out the last few.
He's a busy man.
Yeah.
He's apparently writing for a new Skid Row album at the moment, which I'm assuming will be recorded with Johnny Salinger, but I don't know, fingers crossed.
You have to cross everything, and I'd love to see you try.
He also produces a lot of bands. He produced the Luchagors, which is Amy Dumas, or aka Lita from WWF.
Yep.
Her band. But just about the Skid Row reunion thing, it may never happen, but apparently 4 out of the 5 original members, and one of those 4 is Sebastian,
Okay.
are willing to go ahead and do a reunion sometime in the near future. There's only one that still says, no, I don't want it to happen, it's not going to happen, and that man is quite possibly Rachel himself. But, yeah.
I find it interesting that Sebastian's getting on board because he was the one who was saying he wouldn't go back unless they started doing new music.
Well, I find it funny that they're writing at the moment, and he's now willing to go back, and he always said, I'd only go back if we were going to do new music, so there might be something that we don't know, but...
Well, you are getting excited, aren't you?
I am.
On the inside, we can all tell.
You're only filming from the waist up, yeah?
Yeah. There's good reason for that, folks. You don't want to see what I'm seeing here. All right,
moving on. Alright, time for some new releases. We've got a few this week.
Diverse ones this week too.
Yeah. We're getting right into that diversity thing, aren't we?
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I like it. Now,
we don't like to pigeonhole things very much, do we?
One,
Except Axl.
Yeah. and I know you've done it a couple of times with the likes of Fred Durst, and I think there's a few that I've done it with. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. But...
Oh, there'll be more to come anyway, so...
But no, we don't do that. All right, one release this week that I was very keen to share with you.
Yes. And
I'm very keen to share it with all of you. It was the new Killing Joke album, which it's called MMXII, but if you want to call it that, you're quite silly. It's actually the Roman numeral for 2012. And it's a concept record.
It is
basically about all this end of the world business that's supposedly taking place in 2012.
Yep.
It's a absolutely kick-ass record.
I love this one. I reckon it's fantastic.
I thought you really would. That's why I was looking forward to sharing it with you. It's got a bit of that industrial vibe to it, which you've always been a huge fan of. Yep. And also, like you said earlier, a bit of a Pink Floyd type thing. But Killing Joke have been around for 35 years or something. It's
long enough for Metallica to cover them in their early days.
Yeah,
so
since the 70s.
Yep.
Very, very influential band, and it's easier to talk about who they've influenced than who they were influenced by, because I think they had a bit of everything. Throw it into a hat and just pull out a name when you want to write a song. But I think they've influenced the likes of, obviously, Metallica.
Yep.
Ministry.
Yep.
Fear Factory.
Yep. Rammstein.
Yeah, Rammstein. I'm sure they've influenced the likes of Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch Nails.
Yep.
But an interesting one is they've been a big influence of the Foo Fighters as well.
Yes, they have.
Dave Grohl actually played drums on a Killing Joke record a few years ago.
Yep.
So that's a bit of an interesting one.
And this is a really sort of thematic album, this one. It's definitely a storyline kind of thing about the end of days and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And not in a religious context, but it's just a really well done sort of thematic sort of album, and it all goes together really well. This is not a collection of songs that could be singles. This all sort of ties together, and it's really well done. It's one of the better sort of theme albums I've heard for a long, long time.
Well, as far as favourite songs go, I pick Rapture.
Yep. I'm going with FEMA Camp. There's something about that one which is, if you can't think of what that's about, well then, good luck to you. Go and Google it.
But it's a great album from start to finish, and I definitely recommend it.
Absolutely, so do I. And I'm very glad you shared that one with me. That was a doozy.
Now go back and explore their back catalogue, because you won't be disappointed.
No, I won't be at all. It'll be good.
Next up is Marilyn Manson's Born Villain.
Speaking of people who were influenced by Killing Joke.
Yes. Now, I've got to say, I didn't go into this one with very high expectations at all.
Well,
Didn't actually go into it with any expectations, really. I just put it on because I thought, well, I suppose I better listen to it.
In interjecting a bad pun, he was on a downward spiral for a while. So,
we've all seen footage of concert performances lately, and we know that he's a bit of a time bomb.
yeah, there's some along the likes of sort of Amy Winehouse and all those sort of ones that are just spiraling out of control, and you're just waiting for the end to come. And he's one of those ones you're just waiting to see it happen.
But in saying all that, I put it on and I was pleasantly surprised. I think it's probably the best record that they've done from start to finish since Mechanical Animals.
It's got a bit of the Mechanical Animals vibe to it, as well as a bit of, I guess he wanted to get back to being a little more experimental, and he does do that in this album. There are some good, strong tracks on there, but I think the back sort of third of the album, you kind of get bogged down in a bit of a mire. It doesn't seem to really go anywhere in that back third.
That's sort of been a bit the way it always is with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Now, so.
No, you got a point there. I would agree. Yeah, it's usually sort of punches out really good at the start, and then it sort of ebbs away, and at the end of it, you're going, okay, it kind of lost its way a bit.
Yep. My favourite track of the record is Pistol Whipped.
Yep.
But honourable mention go to all three of the first three tracks on the record.
Yes.
Pistol Whipped is actually one of them.
Yep.
But I think it's those three tracks are a great way to open the record, and then it sort of goes downhill from there.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad record.
No, overall it was because you go in there with such low expectations, and I'm not trying to hype up the CD here because it's not a great piece of work, but it is a good solid piece of work. It just loses its way. For me, the best track on there was No Reflection, but I do love Pistol Whipped as well.
Awesome.
Yep.
On to the next one, which is The Used.
Yep.
Vulnerable. It's their latest album. I've always been a fan of The Used. I really like them, and I think Burt McCracken is a brave man. He hooked up with Kelly Osbourne before she underwent her little transformation into someone who used to look like Kelly Osbourne into someone that doesn't look like Kelly Osbourne anymore.
Yeah. Very brave. Well done to you. Yeah.
But no, great music. I was a huge fan of their first two records, and then they kind of lost me a bit. And I really like this one. This is a good one. Not as sort of aggressive as they used to be.
Yeah. This one's got a fair pop sort of element to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, it's cool.
It's good for a change. I reckon there are some songs in there that sort of don't grab my attention terribly much, but overall it is a good album to listen to for a change, and that's how I sort of view it. It's a good sort of way to switch things up a bit and give you some diversity in your CD collection. My favourite track's This Fire. Yep. Mine's Kiss It Goodbye.
But overall, it's not my favourite record of the week.
No. We've got better ones coming up anyway.
Definitely. Now, just briefly, one last release is Double Wide, our good friends from Northern Ireland.
Yep.
And their new EP, Heavy Oil.
Yes.
Awesome collection of songs.
Yep.
There's a great acoustic version of what's the name of the song?
River, is it the River?
Dead River.
Dead River, yeah. Yep.
From their debut record, 18 Wheels of Misery.
We got it out.
But
see, not scripted, folks.
Not scripted.
No.
And very poorly memorized.
Barely even organised.
My favourite is the opening track, Roll On.
I'm going to go with you on that one. I reckon that one just sort of picks up right where the last EP sort of left off. But this does, as you said earlier, show a fair bit of growth in just a very short EP.
Yep.
But it's a very good continuation of what they're doing, and I'm looking forward to much, much more from these guys.
Me too. Always have been.
Oh.
I love that first album.
Yep.
I think overall I prefer the first album to this collection,
Yep.
but it's still a very, very solid collection of songs. So definitely recommend checking that one out.
For sure.
All right, time now for our clip of the week.
Yep.
Which this week we've picked Still Beating from the Adelaide horror punk, death punk, death pop, whatever you want to call them, band Diamond Sins. Awesome band. We haven't actually had a chance to see them live yet. They came over to Melbourne and they supported Crash Diet a few months back, and it would have been awesome to see them, but we haven't got around to it.
I think we just missed them when we were over in Adelaide.
We
as well.
did, yes.
Couldn't quite make that one work out.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll hook up with the guys soon and do an interview, and maybe they should get over here and do some gigs.
Be good to see them.
But they've got an EP, which is probably about a year or so old now, called Welcome to the Freak Show. But this track that we're going to play comes off their debut full-length album, which is called Death Punk Baby. So I think the title of the album kind of
sums it up pretty well.
What they're all about.
Yep.
Very Murder Dolls.
Yeah, and I got a sort of a Misfits kind of vibe off of this sort of stuff too. I mean, the music will speak for itself, obviously, but they're a very sort of thrashy, growly sort of punk band.
They're old school punk, like as you were saying, the Ramones, Misfits type thing, mixed with your Wednesday 13 Murder Dolls kind of vibe of today. So
good little crossover.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yep.
My favourite track off the record
is
actually Still Beating, which we're about to listen to.
Yep. Mine is, oh boy,
Backhanded Compliments.
Backhanded
Compliments.
Backhanded Compliments.
I had a tongue-tied moment there.
And I do like the other song, Labelled, which it's interesting to note that there's a nice little acoustic version of this song at the end of the album too, which is really well done. I do like that one a lot.
All right, well, let's have a looking. No, we're gonna have a listen. No, we're gonna coin that phrase. From now on, we're gonna looking, which is looking and listening at the same time to new music. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, looking.
It's Still Beating by Diamond Sins. Okay, time for the feature artist of the week,
Yes.
which is Dead City Ruins. Awesome band.
Yes.
And I only said that twice. I was going to start doing your thing and saying things 3 times in a row, but you can keep that.
Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Now,
Really.
now Dead City Ruins are on tour at the moment of Europe. They're
are.
doing shows all over Europe, and obviously they're always doing shows around Melbourne and Australia as well.
Yep.
But
Definite road dogs, these guys. They
Yeah, totally.
know how to, let's say, badly organise a tour to date so far and really rough it out.
that was the first one,
Yeah.
which you'll hear about the first tour in the
Yeah.
interview, but the second one seems to be a lot better planned than the first one was.
He's hoping anyway.
They've got an unreal album out called Midnight Killer. It's
Yes.
been floating around for a while now,
Yep.
and I don't think there's any clips off it, so we can't actually play a full song for you, but
No, unfortunately.
we'll give you a little taste in a minute anyway.
Yep.
Now, we'll just go straight into our favourite songs.
Yep. All right. Cool. Go for it.
Mine is Where You Gonna Run. That
Yeah.
song grabbed me by the balls straight away and sucked me in.
That's
Love
the
it.
first track on the album,
Yeah.
and it's a perfect kick-ass way to fire off an album. I reckon that's a standout track.
Definitely.
Yep. I'm going to go with my ones were Blues, which is the longest track on the album, and it's the most different track on the album, I guess. It's one of those slow building sort of songs. Goes for around 7 minutes long. And another one for me was Highway Girl. It's another really sort of faster paced sort of a track, that one. I do like that one.
Yeah. Like you were saying, with including a song like Blues, there's a bit of diversity into what these guys can do. There's clearly the standard sort of influences like the Guns N' Roses and the Van Halen and the Aerosmith that we're seeing all over a lot of bands lately. A lot of new bands are sort of influenced by that 80s, 70s type rock.
Yep. But these guys, I'll say, even have Led Zeppelin all over
Yeah,
it.
Zeppelin, the Doors,
Yep.
the Stones.
Yeah, absolutely. I was saying to you earlier, and I have to put this in because it jumped into my head, that there's a part of this album that just reminds me of, or puts me in mind of, say, the Doors on steroids. All right. There's no other way to describe certain parts of this album, but that one sticks in my head.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you've seen the boys play live, the singer, Haggis, Jake,
Yep.
he does have a bit of a Jim Morrison type thing about him on stage, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, just sort of strutting around, doing his own thing, not giving a fuck. Just, yeah, it's...
They're one of those bands, they really don't care what people think too much about them. They just do what they do, and they do it well.
Yeah, well, I kind of got scared by them the first time I seen them live. I hadn't heard any of their stuff, and I hadn't heard anything about this band. I seen them open up for Sunset Riot. I was there for Sunset Riot, and I was there for, I think 180 Proof was the other band playing on the night. And Dead City Ruins came on, and I just thought, who the hell are these guys? They were drunk off their heads.
Yeah.
And they were just spraying beer everywhere. There was virtually no crowd, so these boys were just having fun.
Yeah.
Just spraying beer everywhere, but still rocking out and giving it their all.
Yeah.
And then we've seen them again at Cherry Bar for their Welcome Home show from their last tour.
Yep.
And I actually said to you before we seen them, I said, wait till you see these guys on stage. They're fucking just insane, just throwing beer and shit everywhere. And there was absolutely none of that. And I was kind of disappointed because I was like, oh, they don't do that all the time.
Yeah.
But no, apparently they do it fairly often.
I think that was one of the rare times they didn't do it.
Yeah, they seem to be taking things pretty seriously that night. But the musical ability of these guys and the actual gig to watch is just as great when they're taking everything seriously and just concentrating on the rock as it is when they're spraying beer and fucking around and having a good time.
Yeah. But it's good to see bands doing that as well. It's good to see some of the bands out there that still have the old rock and roll spirit.
Yeah.
And just go out there and go amongst it and cause a ruckus and don't give a shit and do whatever the fuck they want. And I love that. I really do love that just attitude to it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, there's not really a lot else that we can say about the band other than
That we love it.
shut up and watch this interview with them.
Ready, boy? We're at Dead City Ruins. Shooting fireworks out of the band.
All right, we're here with the boys from Dead City Ruins. How you going?
Good.
All right, fellas.
Introduce yourselves and let us know what you play in the band.
I'm Sean. I play guitar.
I'm Jake, and I apparently sing.
Apparently.
I don't remember much of it, but apparently I sing.
Now, tell us a bit about how the band came to be.
Somehow I came across an ad for Tom, who had a band. He was searching for a singer. So I once again drove out to Kilsyth?
That was where was that? Oakley.
Oakley. So I don't know, Kilsyth, right? And I turn up.
Great deal of difference.
I turn up and they used to have a couple of bands that rented a space and they all had their gear set up. And I turned up and as soon as I got out of the car I started yelling at Tom like, "You dickhead, you took me an hour to get here. Fuck this." And we played a couple of songs and I was like, I'm going. And I think the other dudes that were in Tom's band was like, that guy's a bit of a dickhead. And Tom was like, nah, he's all right. Straight away, as soon as I heard Tom play guitar, I was like, I'm stealing this dude. And I called Tom and I was like, man, look, those other guys are in another band. Let them do their thing and come with me. And I know a bass player. And he's like, I know a drummer. So that was the start of Dead City Ruins. We got together. I think we jammed twice and then drove to Sydney to play a gig. And absolutely was atrocious. I think I snapped the microphone in half because we were so drunk. We were having a good time. But that's how it started, yeah. And we played around for a while and then we needed a rhythm guitarist because I couldn't sing and play guitar because I'm pretty crap. So we got in Blanche about 3 days before we went on a 4-day to Adelaide tour, Destruction. And then about a month later we left for Europe. So I don't know, that's how it started. Started with chaos and it doesn't make any sense, but still we're here.
Now, Dead City Ruins recorded probably one of the best records that was made in Melbourne last year. Can you tell us a little bit about how it all came together?
We called this guy who had a distribution company and he said there's no point in you going overseas unless you got an album because an EP just won't float. You need a fucking album. So we were like, all right, back in the studio, bashed out another 4 tracks. And we never really thought about, we never had cash to do an album. We never thought we're going to release this album. This is how it's going to be. Let's write an album. We just had songs. We went in, did what we could do in the very, very short space we could do it. And lucky the sound guy at Head Gap Studio, Sloth, was cool as fuck and he just pushed as far as he could push for us to get as good as we could get in the tiny amount of time we had. I think recording wise, the whole album was done in under a week.
Well, the resulting album was called Midnight Killer. Where can fans watching this buy the album from?
You fans can buy, is it on iTunes yet? It's on iTunes. You can buy it off iTunes or you can buy it off us on Facebook. Yeah. You go on Facebook and search Dead City Ruins and it'll come up with our ugly mugs and just get it directly from us or at live shows, which is better.
Definitely. Now, speaking of live shows, you guys have got a really, really energetic live show. It seems like you give it your absolute all, whether you're playing to 3 people or 300 people. What can people expect from your live shows?
Expect to get covered in beer.
I've been there.
Yeah. And you're right. 2 people, 200 people, 2 million people, we don't give a fuck. We're going spastic. I guess we're there to put on a show, but once we get on stage, we're there for ourselves. Whether you're there or not, we don't give a fuck. We're going to have a great time. And I ruin myself night after night. And yeah, we don't give a shit. You can just expect good tunes because, I mean, we've been playing our songs for long enough to have a good tight set, but it's good tunes, but fucking energetic, over the top, wreck ourselves kind of stuff. And our crowds are ridiculous. They're Collingwood supporters. They're drunks who just love a great night and don't expect anyone standing there with their arms crossed going, who are these dickheads? Because they'll get swamped up and pushed to the ground. So
Now, off the back of that album, you guys managed to tour Europe.
that's right.
You able to tell us a bit about your tour and your experiences over there in Europe?
I can tell you limited amounts. Small amount I remember and the small amount I'm allowed to talk about. What was your highlight of the tour?
My highlight of the tour? Well, it was awesome to go on tour to start with, these guys.
You hadn't been in the band for that long when you left Australia to go on tour of Europe, so
Spot on.
it was a bit of a fire test for you.
Fucking oath, like about a month before, like I'd only done maybe 4 gigs with the band, and they're like, yep, pack your bags, we're going to Europe. I'm like, fuck, all right. And went over there.
Plus it's going to cost you this much money.
So that was fucking awesome, you know. It was fucking great, but whole lot of the tour, shit. The whole thing was a great experience. I mean, I guess the highlight, you know, we played with some bigger bands, you know, Veins of Jenna, Faster Pussycat, that was all good fun, but just the fact we're in a foreign country and people speaking a different language, you know, rocking out to us, and the fact that there's metalheads and there's this whole scene overseas was just a major trip out for me, so I couldn't say one particular point, but the whole thing was just fucking amazing.
Now, while we're speaking about touring Europe, there's probably a lot of fans and bands at home that are thinking, you know, it must be easy to do. Do you want to let everybody know about some of the experiences that you went through while you were on tour in another country?
Sure.
Because from what I've heard, it wasn't easy.
Nope. It was a lot easier than working 9 to 5 digging holes. But in saying that, when you work 9 to 5 digging holes, at least you can afford to buy food. But for us, if you're a band or even someone who wants to travel Europe, don't come ask us because we got no fucking idea. We were sleeping. We bought. Is it Argos?
Argos, yeah.
There's a place in England called Argos, right? And you can buy from a washing machine to a pair of gloves from there, all for nothing. So we bought a 4-man tent for 5 of us, and 5 sleeping bags for about $100. So that was shit. And this van that cost us about $1,700. That was just an absolute death machine. It was rusted everywhere. Halfway through the tour, the driver's seat fell through the floor. The tyres were bald. It was a wreck. He got naked and ran over the roof, and the roof was made out of fiberglass. So it just pour rain. The heaters were stuck on in the front, so if you're driving, you were like real hot, no shirt on. Everyone in the back's in their sleeping bags, freezing to death. Touring, yeah. I mean, don't do it how we did it. Figure your own way out. Try and find someone to help you out, because we went over with 12 shows for 3 months and ended up playing 50 shows, but we had to go door to door begging. And when we didn't have shows, we were sleeping in the forest, in our tents. Actually, one night I buried a chicken and then we lit a fire on top of the ground. And in the morning, we dug this chicken up and ate it. It was the best chicken I ever had in my fucking life. But yeah, and then we got robbed in Rome. All our passports, they even stole our leather jackets just as we were going into winter. all our cash. Yeah, it was hard. It was fucking hard. But I think because of the way we did it, we earned a lot of respect over there. And we were going, like, if you organise a tour, you go north to south, go home. We were going north, south, north, south, north, south, east, west, south, north, west, south, east. Just like, we went door to door handing out CDs going, give us a show, give us a show, give us a show. We'd play a show. Someone would go, I can get you a show in bloody Italy. We're like, how far is that? Get on the internet. 24 hours. Yeah, we can get there. Drive all night, just Red Bulls and play a show. Where's our next show? Switzerland. Okay, that's about 8 hours away. Where's the next show? 20 hours away. So, it's not easy.
So, after all the experiences that you've just heard about, these boys are still packing their stuff and heading back to Europe. What is going to be different this time around?
Nothing. This time we've got, so far, about 35 shows booked. A couple of really good supports, which is great. A few of the shows are going to pay us, which might help. What's going to be different?
Geographically, it's better planned.
It is.
From UK to Europe to UK.
That is right. That is right.
So, compared to the last tour, what's this one on a scale of...
It's a big step up. It is a big step up. We've got 4 or 5 festivals that we're playing, which is going to be great. One festival we're playing with Hardcore Superstar and Orange Goblin and V8 Wankers, who I don't know if anyone in Australia knows V8 Wankers, but they're massive over there. Like, they're really good, not stadium kind of thing, but they're a good drawer on the pub and club scene. So I'm pretty psyched to play with them. We're also playing with Wolfmother in Rome, which is going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of people. We're playing with Mastodon in Rome as well, which is going to be awesome. Blanchie's been talking to the guys from Diamond Head, which we might be supporting Diamond Head, which is, like, for me, that's like,
that's
what?
Fucking massive.
Which is awesome. We're playing with a few, like, Scandinavian cock rock bands like Crash Diet and stuff like that. We got another festival in Italy. We're playing all through England. We're playing England, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Czech Republic, which is that's awesome, and Italy. Did I say Italy already? I don't know.
So, how long is the next tour of Europe actually lasting?
The next tour goes from our first show is the 31st of this month, which is, what's this month? May. And then we're there June, July, and we finish on the 4th of August in Belgium. So a little over 2 months.
So what are the plans when you guys get back to Australia?
Plans?
Yeah, what's next for Dead City Ruins?
Well, we're in talks about getting an East Coast tour together. We're hoping that the Deep End get involved. And we just want to do as much touring up and down the coast as we can because we hate working our real jobs. We don't want to go back to reality. And then we have to finish all the muck and rounds, save up again, and record our new album, which should be out by the end of the year.
Is there any songs that are already kicking around for the new album, or...?
We do have... Well, none are kicking around. We've got a couple recorded, but...
you haven't played any of those songs live yet?
We have played a couple live, yeah. We have. Just to test the waters. I think stuff's getting a bit more... You know, like I said earlier about the album just being kind of thrown together. This next album's going to fucking leave Midnight Killer in the wake. It'll be dead. It's a lot more direct. We all know we're a lot more solid as a band. The songs are a lot more brutal. And touring gives you so much material, you know. It's a brutal place to be touring, like, you know. So, yeah, we got some great new songs coming out, and the new album's going to kick ass, so...
As far as you go, in your position in the band, you weren't actually a member of the band when Midnight Killer was written.
Yep.
So, do you find yourself more excited about playing the new songs on stage than you do about playing the Midnight Killer material that you had no part of?
Oh, I love Midnight Killer. It's fucking great. I wouldn't have joined the band if I didn't like it. So they're still a fucking blast to play. Sure, it's fucking cool. You know, I've contributed to some of the new songs, so it's great playing them. But yeah, it's also like fuck. Loved watching the band when I wasn't in it, and it's fucking gets my dick pretty hard playing it, you know. So.
But does it make you feel like more of an actual full member of the band to play songs that you've been part of contributing to?
Yeah, for sure. It's fucking cool as fuck having to write songs with these dudes, and yeah.
So as far as the songwriting process goes, who is the main writer, or do you all write together, or?
As a band early on, we decided that as far as credits, every song's written by Dead City Ruins. There is no writer. Tom might bring a riff in. Tom might bring a whole song in, but it'll never be the same once it gets to the rehearsal studio.
Yep.
Tom writes a lot of riffs. I write a lot of riffs. Mick writes. I write the majority of the lyrics, but I get a lot of ideas off Mick because me and Mick used to play in the band in London. He's kind of been my inspiration for a few things. But there is no rock stars in this band. There's no, I'm the fucking band, everyone's replaceable. Because no, without Blanche, it's not the same band. Without Tom, not the same band. Without Druzy, without Mick, without me. Sure, you'd be playing the songs, I guess, but it's not the same. It's like we said earlier, no one that we know could give less of a fuck about life than us five dudes. You know, we're all driven to do this one thing, and we don't care if we kill ourselves doing it. It's what we're here to do. And so, yeah, it's just Dead City Ruins are Dead City Ruins. Our songs are written by everyone. Everyone has a shot, you know. Quite a few times, someone said, "Oh, that riff shit. Oh, that vocal shit. Oh, we need to do this. We need to do that." So, Dead City Ruins is Dead City Ruins all the way. It's 5 guys. So.
All right, so that wraps up our interview. So thanks for your time, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best of luck on your tour of Europe.
Thank you very much. Just like to say thanks to you fellas. Fucking hard rock show. Getting out there, kicking ass, joining Melbourne bands.
No worries, you're welcome.
And to you arseholes out there, go watch a local band. We need your money.
Fucking oath. Get off your ass and go see a gig.
Fuck yeah.
We're dying out here. We're starving. We're sleeping in tents. Cheers, boys.
No worries. All right, that was our interview with Dead City Ruins, and there's probably a lot more of that
There usually is that just can't make it into the format we've got currently
because we just don't have the time.
Yep.
We still don't have the time, and we've just recently expanded to 50-minute episodes.
It's getting insane, folks. The more we sort of get around to doing, the more we end up doing on top of that. We just keep exponentially growing.
Yeah.
There's some words for you, folks.
There's no way we'd be able to cut down to 23 minutes.
Not again, no.
But
let alone 15 minutes like our first ones were. Good luck with that.
Yeah, we really didn't know what we were doing back then. We still don't, but we really didn't know what we were doing back then.
We just keep winging it and getting better as we go.
Anyway, so that was our interview. We had a ball, and there is more, which you'll see
At
on
a
its
later
own.
date.
At a later
sometime.
date.
Yeah.
We'll give it to you one day.
If you feel like it.
Maybe as a special feature on the DVD when we sell it to you and make you pay us.
We've got to put... Okay, this is news to me. We haven't even talked about putting together a DVD per se of this sort of stuff yet. This could be interesting.
Yeah, well...
There we go. Get on our Facebook page
Why
and tell
not?
us if you'd actually buy a season of our mugs on your TV screen. There you go.
It'd be worth buying just for the bonus content that we could give you.
Oh, there's lots of that.
But anyway, that's all we've got time
way
for.
Off topic.
Hell yeah. We're good at that too.
Yeah. All right. Now, just make sure you do pick up Dead City Ruins Midnight Killer. It's a kick-ass album. Before we do sign off, we get back on track here. It's absolutely worth it. Fantastic album.
And I don't think anything's been announced yet, but I'm sure there will be another Welcome Home show for them. So keep an eye on Facebook and things like that. And
Go and like the page, and I'm sure
go
you'll
ahead
be-
and check out the Welcome Home show because it'll be awesome.
that will be a good show when it goes off. Yeah.
But that's all for this week. So until next week,
Drink up.
and rock on.
Oh wow, looking chicken. That was fucking terrible. My God.
Yeah. There's your blooper.
Yep.